ITV News Central, good afternoon. Protesters have blockaded the headquarters of an energy company in Staffordshire. Around 20 protesters say they've shut down the Quadrilla site in Lichfield, but the company tells us employees are still working. The protest group, No Dash for Gas, says it's concerned about the environmental impact of hydraulic fracturing, the technique for releasing natural gas from shale rock. Callum Watkinson joins us live from Lichfield. Callum, Quadrilla are facing protests across the country about this, aren't they?
That's right, Bob. The focus of these protests has been Quadrilla's site near the village of Balcombe in West Sussex, where they are drilling, but for oil, not for natural gas. Nevertheless, No Dash for Gas thought that would be an appropriate focus for their protests this week. And they've also been conducting similar activity at the headquarters of the PR company Quadrilla use in London, and also here at the company's own headquarters. Now, what the protesters are concerned about is hydraulic fracturing, a process whereby water is forced into the ground at high pressure to open up cracks in the layer of shale that covers much of the country and allow the gas to flow out. Now, there's no fracking going on down in Balcombe. There's certainly no fracking going on here in Lichfield. But nevertheless, Quadrilla is the only company that has so far conducted this process to any meaningful degree at a site in the northwest near Blackpool, which is why they and their headquarters here have become the focus of these protesters' attention.
Quadrilla came to Sussex, so we came to Quadrilla to let them know how disruptive and annoying it is to have people coming uninvited without any kind of consultation into your community and messing about.
Now, we are told by their colleagues here that 4 protesters gained entry to the building this morning, and they say at least 2 of those are still inside. As for Quadrilla, they say their employees are still working. They say that everything they are doing is legal, approved and safe. And they point out everything they do is done to enforceable standards, while some protesters, they say, believe they can set out and follow their own.
Callum, thank you for that report. The owners of Ask FM, a social networking website linked to the suicide of a Leicestershire teenager, have announced safety improvements following her death. It's claimed Hannah Smith took her own life after receiving anonymous abuse through the site. The founders are now promising to introduce features to make it safer, as Solly Lockwood reports.
Hannah Smith committed suicide 2.5 weeks ago after months of apparent online bullying. The 14-year-old's father has since called for a change in the law to prevent similar tragedies, saying he didn't want his daughter's death to have been in vain.
It's now time for the government to step up and start regulating these websites so that a 45-year-old lorry driver doesn't have to do it, because I ain't got time.
Ask FM has since conducted a review of their safety procedures, and today they announced the changes they intend to make. In a statement, the founders said they'll commit to reviewing all reports made using the report button within 24 hours. To do this, they'll hire more staff to act as moderators, including a safety officer to take overall responsibility for moderation at Ask FM. They also plan to make it more obvious for users to block anonymous questions. The report button, which is discreet at the moment, will become more prominent, and when it's clicked, in addition to the 4 categories of abuse you see now, there'll soon be a 5th one for bullying and harassment. The site reportedly alleged Hannah may have sent many of the messages to herself, but today her father said he was satisfied with their announcement.
I'm actually pleased that they're taking steps. They've admitted that their website was dangerous for teenagers, and they are taking steps, and we're going in the right direction.
The site's safety improvements will be implemented over the next 6 months. Hannah's father says he hopes his daughter's death will make the world a safer place. Sally Lockwood, ITV News.
The MP for Hereford and South Herefordshire is calling for the relationship between the Welsh and English health services to be renegotiated. Jesse Norman says people should have the right to go to a hospital in England even if they're registered with a doctor in Wales. It's a plan his constituents are backing. Finally, a major commuter route in and out of Derby city centre will be closed for a year from today. London Road will be closed to traffic between Bateman Street and the entrance to the Rail Technical College, while a 135-year-old rail bridge is replaced. Let's have a look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours with Emma Jessen.
The This'll keep your ears warm, but you can't hear anything.
It's 4:30.
Hello there. Well, summer returns for most of us this week. A little bit of a blip midweek with a bit more cloud and some patchy light rain possible. But then the high pressure tries to cling on again, and it's certainly exerting its influence this afternoon from the southwest. Now, we had a very bright start to the day. This afternoon, a bit more cloud bubbles up, so we're talking sunny spells rather than wall-to-wall sunshine, but it will feel very pleasant with only light winds and highs of 21 Celsius, 70 Fahrenheit. Overnight tonight, some clear spells, a bit chilly, particularly out in the countryside, and one or two mist patches forming. Tomorrow, a repeat performance of today, but warmer. Bye-bye.
Flybe, sponsors of ITV Central Weather.
And that brings us up to date with the news and weather this lunchtime. More stories on the web. Log on to itv.com/central. I'll be back with Kate Fisher for ITV News Central at 6. Have a nice afternoon.